Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the New Breed podcast. Unfortunately, we are not the only new metal podcast, but I go out on a limb and say that we are the best. Fuck them if they can't take a joke. I'm your co-host, Jay Horskow. With me, I have my good friend and co-host, the notorious TIM, Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how's it going?
I'm great, man. What's up with you?
I am ready to party, my friend. Got the house to myself and a whole bunch of beers deep. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So tonight's episode, we're doing another deep dive, and I believe in our first episode when we talked about the big four of new metal, this was my fourth pick. Tonight we're going to deep dive into the Soulfly self-titled album. Tim and I both did a couple of listens, came away with a bunch of notes. So before we go into all the typical questions and stuff, Tim, I know you like to go through a lot of the background, the sales numbers, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to give you the floor. Let's talk about the history behind this album, how it did volumetrically, sales, all that sort of good stuff.
All right. Yeah, I do like to do this stuff. It's fun. All right. So the self-titled record from Soulfly was released August 21st, 1998 through Roadrunner Records, produced by Ross Robinson and Richard Kaplan at Indigo Ranch. It was certified gold November 16, 2005 by the RIAA, which means it sold 500,000 copies. Also, this record was released in memory of Max's murdered, I guess, was it best friend, Dana Wells?
I think it was his stepson. I think it was Gloria's son from her first marriage.
Oh, yeah. Murdered stepson. Duh, I read right by that. This is also Max's first records since leaving Sepultura 2 years prior. When it first came out, it hit number 79 on the Billboard 200. Also, for this record, they played Ozfest main stage in 98. They also, after that, did a worldwide small club tour with Snot and System of a Down. And after the tours, Logan left and was replaced by Mikey Doling of Snot. Did
you see that tour, Tim?
No, I don't think I've ever seen Soulfly. I don't remember.
No shit, really? They played with everybody, man.
I can't remember, dude. Like, there's so much. Like we did like I was telling you, we did a 6-hour metal show last week. And they were asking me stuff like that. I'm like, dude, I can't remember so many of this stuff.
I think I did see that tour because I think Head PE was the fourth act. I think it was Snot, okay. Head PE, System of a Down, and Soulfly at the Truck, of course.
Wow. That's all right. Yeah. So singles from the album, Eye for an Eye, that came out first. That was February 23rd, 98. Then Oomba Baramba, May 5th, 98. Bleed, December 23rd, 98, and then Tribe, January 21st, 99. I'm surprised that Bleed wasn't the first single, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, what was it, Tim? Was it
the first single was Eye for an Eye, yes.
Which I guess it makes sense.
Very weird.
Well, it makes sense because it's the first song in the album, but then again, you and I come from hardcore, right, where typically the first song released is never the first song in the album. It's always something completely different.
Yeah, it's like number 8 or something.
Yeah, it's usually either a deep cut or something that they recorded, the first song that they recorded for the album. The only band I can think of that recently has released the lead-off track as the first single was the last Black Dahlia Murder. Did you listen to that, by the way?
Yes.
I fucking love those guys. They make the same album every time. I don't fucking care. It's a good time.
It's pretty heavy.
It's good.
I'm not really the biggest fan of his voice, but it's good.
So let me ask you this, Tim. Before you and I started doing our homework, and for you listeners, Tim and I were text messaging each other, harassing each other, like, yo, I'm 2 listens in. I've got 3 pages of notes. Where you at? Because Tim showed me up in the last episode. I think it was the Limp Bizkit one. When's the last time you listened to this album before you started doing your homework for this episode?
Wow. I don't even know, dude. I'll tell you what, like, I have this paragraph too it's called First Thoughts. And I guess we can lead off with that because that's kind of what I started writing down. Because after I listened to it, I was like, wow, this record is fucking great. So many riffs on this record. Just so many hard riffs. Like, it's perfect new metal riffs on this record. It held up. It held up, like, through the years, definitely. Like I said, the Limp Bizkit one did not hold up. This one holds up. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to this. I mean, I was expecting it not to age well, but I was severely wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. So,
my first take when I listened to this again was I forgot how long of an album this is.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if it's attention spans, but it's 15 tracks. There's one segue and one cover. And then there's a couple of those weird tracks, which we'll get through. But for the most part, this is a solid 12, 13 track album, which is unheard of, especially nowadays.
And it's funny, not to cut you off, but like when I was listening to it, I remember years ago I would skip tracks because I thought it was just like music stuff, like background music. And then like I let it go because we were painting at work, and like I just had my headphones on. I let it go. I'm like, wait a minute, this song's heavy as shit. Like, wow, like Tribe. I forgot that was an actual song.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I got a lot of notes on that one.
I mean, it was funny. I'm like, man, like this is bringing back so much cool shit. And then I'm like, there's more tracks now that I don't even know about. Like, it's crazy, dude.
Holy shit, this album is still going. I do think it does hit. Now, keeping in mind, it came out, what was it, Tim? 98, 97?
Yes. Yep, 98.
It was a bit of a front, not a front runner, but a torchbearer in a lot of regards, in the sense of there were a lot of guests. Right. Yeah. So this was a new metal pastiche, right? It was a typical new metal thing that they had guests. It had some of the weird instruments, which we'll get through in a minute. I thought the thing that stuck with me about this album when I listened to it again is the tribal parts don't feel like they were bolted on. They don't feel like you and I sat down and wrote a fucking new metal song and then went, shit, let's throw in some fucking bongos, you know?
Yeah,
like it felt very organic, like it was meant to be part of the album itself.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that has to do with the whole Soulfly name and stuff too. So.
Absolutely. And what they were doing, what he was doing in Sepultura before he came over here, right? So it was a natural extension. I also think the lyrical content of the album and the aggregate really every track falls into one of two piles, right? There's either the revenge fantasy stuff, which comes from the death of Dana, the split from Sepultura, the split with his brother, right? There's all that stuff. And the other half is going deep on the Brazilian tribal Portuguese, soccer songs, right? Like the anthems that you would sing when you're in a soccer stadium watching a match. So I thought that was interesting when I look back historically at the album, because literally all the tracks you could put them in one of two buckets.
And it's funny you say that about splitting up with his brother. I thought for the longest time that he played drums on this record. So I was definitely wrong with that. But another thing, Wiki says that they're out of Phoenix. Did he move to Phoenix or something? Or
he was out of Phoenix. I think that's where him and Gloria lived when they moved stateside. And I think that's when Dana was killed. He was killed in a hit and run somewhere in Arizona.
Okay. Makes sense now. Now back to the lyric wise, I think it has terrible lyrics though. They're a lot of the new metal shit is very juvenile lyrics, like we talked about before.
Yeah.
They're not as bad as the Limp Bizkit stuff, but like it's stuff that like you could throw together in like a night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But again, if you're only hitting two notes, you're either doing tribal stuff to sing in a soccer match, or you're doing I'm mad and angry and want revenge. Well, you're kind of painting yourself into a box to start.
Yeah, I also thought that Logan played on this record, but he didn't. So he I guess he just came in for the tour and then left after.
Wasn't it some Brazilian guy? Right?
Yeah. His name's in here. When we get to one of the songs, I have his name written down.
Okay.
Also, Max, I seen in an interview, he says he doesn't consider this a new metal record, which is fucking crazy because it's definitely new metal.
We should reach out and see if we can get him on the show, Tim, and just debate with him.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, look at the guests on the record. They're all new metal people.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean it's not new metal?
You know what it is? It's that we talked about this. It's that thing where people think new metal is a dirty word, where it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
No, you're right. And my first thoughts, I think the record's highly underrated. And a lot of people say it's a sequel to Roots, but is it really a sequel, or is it just he wanted to change it up?
I think it's a natural progression. I wouldn't say it's a sequel. And speaking of the album, a good buddy of mine, one of my best friends from college, actually has the Soulfly logo tattooed on his shoulder. He has a giant one. Because that's a pretty badass logo if you think about it.
No, it is.
Right?
It is, yeah.
All right, Tim, let's go in. So the first song we got here is the opening track, Eye for an Eye. The guests on this one are Dino Cazares and Burton Seabell from Fear Factory.
Yes.
It's 3 minutes and change. What are your thoughts on this track as an opener and an overall?
Great opener. Great riffs. I like how they just pound at you right away with the record. Like you put it on and you just get instantly fucking pounded. I love when bands know, like, hey, man, I'm back. It's basically Max saying, I'm back. this is what we're fucking bringing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring this heat, track one. And they did. They brought the heat, man. It's one of the best tracks on the record. What exactly did Dino do on this song, though? Guitar?
He must have written one of the riffs. Must have. So speaking of the Fear Factor, guys, I think Burton's vocals fit. He does the callback in the chorus, but then there's that weird like bridge tribal interlude where Burton is like moaning in the background, like chanting.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Which actually made me think, Tim, I'm like, maybe he should do a side project in that vein, like one of those like new agey fucking post-rock sort of things, because I think that would work for him. I mean, the guy has pipes. We're eventually going to do a Fear Factory catalog dive, and he can sing. So I think he did fit on this song. I think you're right. I think it's a tough opener. I think it sets the tone of the entire album. There is a little bit of the tribal piece when in that bridge, like the aforementioned bridge. But for the most part, I think this is a straight-up metal song front to back.
Yeah. In the personnel notes, it says rhythm guitar for Dino and backing vocals eye for an eye for Burton. So I guess, like you said, he's doing the every other eye, like eye for an eye. Oh, you know what I mean? I think he's doing that. It's weird, though, because I didn't even know he was on the track the whole time until I read the notes about it. So, which is even cooler, you know what I mean?
Really? You didn't know that?
I love Fear Factory. Nah, I didn't know that at all. It's crazy because, like, back then, it was like you just listened to the music. You didn't really look into it like that. But now Wikipedia is out and the internet, you kind of find everything out, so.
Yeah, you just put the CD on and you let it go. You didn't think too much about, what was going on.
Yeah, but like, and I always say too, like bands back then, they just knew what song to put it in the opener, and this is definitely the best choice. Any other song would have been just nah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead to track number 2. No Hope equals No Fear. So one, Tim, I think this is a straight banger. This is one of the heavier songs on the album.
Absolute heat.
This, to me, could have been a leftover track from Roots. This could have been a leftover Roots song.
It could have been.
It sets the standard on the album with the weird outro, right? Because it has that weird sort of outro where the guitar rings in and out. I love the fucking monster breakdown where he yells freedom, then it goes into the breakdown. Like that is hardcore-esque. But I think this is a heavy song to the point where I remember when I first got this CD, I would fast forward through track 1 every time because this is the song I wanted to start the album with.
This is my favorite track on the record. It was previously Fire, because I know we always talk about previous stuff. Previously, it was Fire. It's the hardest track on the record. It's one of the best lyrical-wise. A fun track to play on drums, which is funny because as soon as I was listening to this record, I was like, when I get home, I got to get on my electric drums and play the song. So I've been thinking about doing like drum covers just for the hell of it, and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be my second one because I did a Seven Dust song a while ago. And I put it up just for the hell of it, but I'm going to start with this one, like as real shit.
It's a heavy song. Again, as far as nu metal goes, it's heavy. There's not the funky instruments.
Yep.
There's not the weird effects. There's no guest. This is Max being Max.
Oh, and it's funny. In my notes, I put in quotations, "This is a Roots track," if you ask me. So that's funny. I haven't read these notes since I printed them. So
we both are firing on the same. We're on the same cylinder here.
Yeah, and I also love that little bell accent they put after the fills in it, like in the couple parts. I love that shit. And I was watching videos of this song. It's fucking slays live. Like earlier on, they slayed this song live. And then that middle part with the rabbit animal sound, that rules too.
Yes.
Yeah. That best track on the record.
This is not my favorite, but one of the better songs on this album.
I'm going to try and guess what it is.
I think you'll be surprised. So
I think I'm going to be too. I think I might hit it though.
So we're going to go from No Hope to No Fear. And again, this is a 4-minute song, which is still fairly long. A lot of the songs in this album are fairly long considerably. We go into track 3, which is, I think, the 3rd single or the 4th single, which is Bleed. Third single, featuring Fred Durst and DJ Lethal. What were your thoughts, Tim, on this one?
Fred's whining on it.
Tim hates Fred Durst and his nasally fucking voice.
He has a vicious scream on it, though. Very, very good screaming on this. He's always been good at the screaming, like I've said many times. The rapping, not so much. The whining, not so much. Not a bad track, but not great either. I remember this being the fucking anthem back then for people, man. Like, everybody loved it. I'm actually surprised, like I said, it wasn't the lead-off single for the record, considering Durst was on it and how big they were back then. So,
my notes here, I think this is one of the better songs on the album, mainly for the fact that the guests work. Fred's verse works. I know you don't like his voice or his lyrical content, but it works in the context of the song. DJ Lethal, the scratching parts that he does works. The fact that Max goes from a breakdown into Fred Durst's rapping song part, and he does have that vicious scream to end out his bars. I think it's a good song. You're right. I would think, keeping in mind that the new metal years were the years where your first single was usually a cover or something with a guest who was more famous than you, you would have thought that this would have been an earlier single.
Absolutely.
But I remember seeing these guys. I remember seeing Soulfly at Ozfest that one year, and Fred Durst did come out to sing. It was the year where Soulfly was on the main stage. I think it was Ozfest 98. And everybody who was on the tour who sung on the album came out and sang their part in the song. It was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm sure they do that once in a while now when they're on the same fest or whatever. So, which is cool. I mean, I've seen, you know what? You know what? I have seen Soulfly because Chino came out and they did, he did head up with them. So yeah,
yes.
I did see them. I just forget where it was. Probably Ozfest.
Probably. Soulfly was on almost every year.
Oh, so did that same time.
Tim, we're recording too long together. So the next song, coming off Bleed, we go to Tribe.
Yeah.
And this one, so this is a long song, man. This song is 6 minutes and 2 seconds. My notes here are, the first note I have is the fucking berimbau, that weird one string thing that he plays. I also have here that the lyrics are fairly basic. However, the bridge is awesome, that tribal sound, and that jazzy section into the distorted. He reads all those names.
Yeah.
Over the crunch riff along the back. I thought that was awesome. But the lyrics are, what is it? Your tribe, our tribe, our tribe, your tribe, our tribe, our tribe. Oh,
yeah, yeah.
You're not right. Like, it's not. There wasn't a lot there. There wasn't a lot of meat on that bone. What do you think?
My notes. I remember I used to skip this track. Like I said, I skipped it all the time because I thought it was just some Brazilian weirdo shit all the time. And then when I first heard how heavy it was, I was happy as hell. I'm like, dude, this is like a new track for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, shit, dude. Like, I didn't even know that it got heavy. But like the intro part, I actually don't mind that stuff nowadays. Like, I changed my mind. Like, I don't really mind it now. But the intro with that heavy part, that drum part, is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And now in 2020, it's one of the best tracks on the record. That bridge part, like you said, is so fucking heavy. And Max, he just knows how to guide like simple parts into like mammothly heavy shit. You know what I mean? Like, he's perfect. He's a genius at that shit.
Yeah, he's a no frills guy when it comes to building these songs, in the sense that he doesn't use a lot of, he doesn't know, it's not fretboard wankery, and it's not this crazy time signature. He just knows how to write a riff that gets you to want to nod your head and move.
Yeah,
and that's something. That's saying something.
The dude plays, but the two bottom strings not even on the guitar. Like, he knows.
Do you remember that? Did you ever come across that interview back when he was in Sepultura? There was an interview with Andreas, the guitarist, and he was complaining because he was saying, "Yeah, fucking Max and his stupid guitars." He's always out of tune because he loses those bottom two strings. So, it throws off the bridge tension. That's why he's swapping guitars every song.
Okay.
Because he's always out of tune. Because think about it, right? It's going to pull the neck up, and it's going to throw off your tuning.
I never even thought about that, but it makes a lot of sense. But I mean, whatever. He knows he can't shred, so fuck it.
Dude, whatever. I mean, wasn't there a band where they would play like there was like two Presidents of the United States. Oh, God, Jesus. Fucking moving along.
I love playing their songs on guitar. It's hilarious, man.
God, it's terrible. So track 5, Boomba, featuring the Los Hooligans. So this is the group, this is the gang vocals in the back. Short song, 3 minutes and 59 seconds. What did you think of this one, Tim?
Hate it.
See,
I couldn't care less about this track at all.
I like it.
If I can't understand the language, I bail right away, man.
Oh, dude, it's a great melting pot of the metal shit that Max did with Sepultura and the tribal shit of the direction Max was going. So I really like this song. I have a note here that if you looked at Spit or Dusted from Roots, this is maybe a next logical step where you're melting the metal in with the tribal stuff. And of course, he has the Max Cavalera fucking signature line, right? Bring the shit.
Oh, dude, that's in my notes. That's hilarious, man.
I fucking call people up all the time. My buddy Rob, bring the shit, and I'll hang up on him. And he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, in my notes, I put, he does say bring the shit, and it's fucking hilarious every time I listen to it. The chorus where he yells the boomba is actually kind of cool, though. I did enjoy that part of it. So, but other than that, it's skippable for me.
And honestly, we probably enjoy that part because we like hardcore, where there's gang vocals is like, that's the gimme for like, hey, got a 3-minute song and need to fill it up. Bring up a couple dudes in the sound booth and I'm just yell the chorus with you.
I'm going to pull that bring the shit thing now and like add it into the intro every now and then.
Yes, you should. Actually, you should lead with, that should be the intro. It should be him saying that and then it go into the sample.
I'll do it, man. It's done. Consider it done.
Next we have, one of the songs that, believe it or not, Tim, I really wasn't a big fan of. First Commandment, track number 6, featuring Chino Moreno from the Deftones. So this is typical Chino. To me, this is typical Chino, right?
Yep.
The crooning, he's got the crooning vocals. He's got the weird mumbly shit he was doing on Around the Fur. This song, my note here is this song could technically be the sequel to the Deftones song Soulfly on Around the Fur. Because if listen to Head Up, that's it. Shit, how did I fuck that up? If you listen to them back to back, you can see how they went from one to the other. And obviously Max and Chino were friends.
I'm gonna have to listen to it back to back now. Notes for me, No Hope, like I said, is my favorite track on the record. But if this makes sense, this might be the best track on the record, though. If you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I love Chino on it actually because I just love everything he does. But the song just fucking rips, man. I mean, great screams from Max on it. It's a fucking majestic track, dude. Like it's a song like I would freak on, like a hit of acid. You know what I mean? Like you listen to it, you're all fucked up, and you're like, oh shit, because of Chino's weird vocals in it, and it's just like, don't listen to that song on fucking a blotter hit. I
had a buddy tell me that his Chino's vocals basically sound like somebody strangling a cat. Like those weird noises that he makes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good track. It's just, for me, it was just like, it was good. Didn't stand out.
I like it.
And that brings us to track 7, which is Boom Clot.
Yep.
I know. I kind of remember this one. My notes here say that this is very, very much punk rock.
Yep.
This is Max showing his punk influences. It's 3 minutes, 52 seconds, so it's a shorter song. It was good, but again, it was like I put this in the same vein as like, again, I keep going back to Spit and Dusted from Roots, right? This is straight in that vein.
I as Jamie Joss would say, hard. It's a hard song.
I really shouldn't say this on the podcast.
Yeah. Really good riffing in this song. In the vein, like you said, the punkish vibe in it. It's a song that got stuck in my head after listening to it. I love the snare work in this song. And this is the song that has probably the best lyrics on the record, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's the snare roll, right? Dun dun brr, dun dun brr. I love
that. That riffing is so good.
Yeah, it's a good song, and it's one of the shorter songs on the album. So it really is. He took the punk rock ethos to heart, right? He got in, make his noise, and get out.
Yeah, like right before he does the "you fake you waste" part, like that whole like electronic feel. I love that part of that song. That's a good song, man.
I do enjoy this one. Again, my favorite track on Roots was Dusted. So anything that sounds like that, I'm like, okay, I'll fuck with it.
Yeah, hell, I have to go back and listen to Roots tonight after this or tomorrow or whatever.
It's so good, and I know there's people out there right now staring at their fucking phones, screaming, "Oh, fuck, arise!" No, Roots is a great fucking album, and we'll talk about it. We'll dive into that one day. So
we're gonna.
After this, Tim, we hit the mid-album palette cleanser, right? So we've literally hit the midway point track count. This is track number 8. It's titled Soulfly. This is an instrumental.
Yep.
I really, really like this song to the point where I would listen to a full album of this. It's got the bongos, right? But they're not overpronounced. It's got that soundscape sort of like ethereal, almost like wave stuff. I really, really liked it.
I like it as well. There's actually a cool story about it that Max was talking about in an interview that I watched. It was never even supposed to be on the record, but apparently like Jackson, the guitar player, was playing it and Ross heard it and just hit record on it, and because he liked it so much. And then at the end of them jamming, Ross was like, yo, I recorded that. And he was like, oh, really? So they listened to it back and they loved it. And then they put like the lead parts over it, and then they just made it the instrumental, which is pretty cool because
that's awesome.
It's smart of Ross to be sitting there listening to him just jamming out and be like, you know what, I should record that. And then you get one of the cool instrumental tracks that on the record, you know? And I actually liked it. So
yeah, I think it's good. And again, you've got 7 tracks in a row of new metal. Yeah. You've got a break, and then you hit the second half. And the second half, he gets a little weird. He gets a little loose in the B side of this album, right? So if we're gonna say, if we can agree that the instrumental track Soulfly is the end of side A, now we're going into side B. Now we can start getting front tire gets a little squirrely on this one. Leading us from Soulfly, we have track number 9, which is a cover by Jorge Ben-Hor, featuring the gang vocals again. Oomba Bara, Oomba Baba, Oomba
Barumba.
Oomba Bara, Oomba Bara Oomba. There we go. There we go.
There you go.
5 or 6 beers deep, everyone. Tim and I finally got it. This, again, it fits Brazil. It fits soccer. It fits Max, right? This is him doing a tribal thing. It's mid-pace. There's a groove to it. This is a song, again, this is you and I wasted waving the scarves in the soccer stadium.
After a goal. After someone yells goal or whatever the fuck they do. I don't watch soccer, so.
Yeah, no, this is one of those things where you're waving, you're swinging your scarf around and singing. Good track, but again, it gets lost kind of with Boomba and Tribe and some of the other tribal stuff he's got on the album.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. It's a song I'm gonna skip.
So what about the next one? Are you going to skip that? Track number 10, which is Quilombo, featuring Benji Webb from Dub War and DJ Lethal.
Yeah, I skip it. It's boring as hell. I hate when I can't understand the languages. I appreciate people doing their native, tongue and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I just can't understand it. I don't want to hear it. It gives a fuck,
See, I didn't mind this, but I also have a soft spot for Benji from Dub War. I do have a note here that Benji in the chorus really works. However, DJ Lethal was almost an afterthought, where he was so prevalent in the third track, Bleed, right, where you knew there was scratching and you knew there was DJ Lethal. In this song, it was kind of like bolted on in the background. And the only other way I can describe it, and I hate to insult this band because I love them. Do you remember, Tim, the Full of Hell Merzbow collaboration that they did? To me, it didn't work for me. And I love fucking Full of Hell. I do. I think the stuff they do with the body is amazing. I love every album they've done. That sort of, to me, felt like they did music and bolted some Merzbow noise on the back of it. That's the same thing. That's the same feeling I get when I listen to this song. They just bolted DJ Lethal's like scratches into the back.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about Full of Hell because I was going to wear my Full of Hell shirt for this. Well, to go out today. And then I read what was on the back. I'm like, yeah, I can't go to dinner at my parents' house with that shirt.
Which one was that one?
It says like harsh grinding fucking death or something on the back of it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to wear that to my dad's little birthday get together.
I have a Rotten Sound shirt somewhere that says fast music for slow people. And I'm like, that's fucking great. I fucking love that band. One of the loudest bands I've ever seen in concert. I saw them at the Barbary and my leg hair was shaking inside my jeans. They were so loud. Awesome band. Okay, so back to the new metal. So now we're getting deep into the side B, track 11, which you said was one of your favorite songs on the album, Fire.
Oh, yeah. One of the hardest on the record.
Yeah, and it starts with that fucking driving riff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, my favorite from back in the day for sure. This is a song, like you said, it makes you bob your head every fucking time you hear it. You just can't help it.
Yeah, that chorus is a jump around at a fucking summer festival. Like that's a
absolutely.
If you find yourself nodding along, 9 times out of 10 it's a good song that'll translate live. And I had this on in the background when I was doing some work stuff, and I caught myself just nodding away.
Yeah, I always say that about music. It doesn't matter what genre it is. If it makes you bob your head, it's a fucking good song. I don't care what genre. I don't care if it's hip hop. I don't care if it's metal, hardcore. If my head's bobbing, I'm fucking enjoying it.
Wildly off topic and apropos of nothing. You know what I had on today in the background when I was making dog food that I caught myself fucking headbanging?
What's that?
Newest Left Behind album.
Oh, it's so heavy.
It's so fucking heavy, and I think it got short shrifted because it came out so late in the year. So, and we talked about this when we did the Ill Street episode. Like, I didn't have enough listens to make it sit, but his voice is fucking harsh, and that album has a fucking groove to it. I caught myself a couple times today just nodding along.
Dangerously heavy record.
Yes, absolutely. So back to the new metal after we digress. Track number 12. The song remains insane. What are your notes on this, Tim? What do you think?
Weird intro of some shit I can't understand. Who it features D-Lo? Who the hell is D-Lo?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know who the fuck that is either. Definitely, it's one of the thrashier songs on the record. Not a bad track. It's not one of the best. It's got definitely an Attitude Roots vibe though.
Well, and that's the thing. The second half of that song, they cover Attitude as like a punk rock song. Like he runs through it at warp speed.
They do?
Yeah, you go back and listen to it again. You'll be like, oh, shit, that's Attitude. That's why it sounds so familiar.
There you go. Okay.
The first half is that weird, samply Brazilian shit. And then he goes right into, yeah, it's Attitude.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. Okay.
Yeah, go back.
Now I got to go back and hear that again, too. Yeah. That's hilarious.
So, and now we hit, after the song remains insane, obviously a nod to the song remains the same. We hit the last couple tracks of the album. This is where I think the next two is where Max hits stride.
Yeah.
So track 13 features Christian Oldie Wolbers. The name is No from Fear Factory, Christian. My notes, Tim, this is a song made for a live audience.
Oh, absolutely.
The no chant in the chorus. The note I have here in all caps, as I have here to myself.
No motherfucking Hootie in the Blowfish.
Yes, it says, don't forget to talk about no motherfucking Hootie in the Blowfish.
My notes, no motherfucking Hootie in the Blowfish with the exclamation point. Yep, absolutely, man.
Yeah, it's a good song though. It's made for this is something that you and I in the late 90s sitting at the E Center in Camden can see, and you can practically close your eyes and see an entire field of guys jumping around screaming.
Absolutely, man. It's like you said, it featured Christian from Fear when he was in Fear Factory. I guess he does bass on the track.
I would guess, yeah.
I read something. I read something, and it says he does double bass on the track, but I have no fucking clue what that means because double bass to me is just a drummer. But the bridge part is one of the hardest track parts on the record. I mean, no fucking question. This is almost my favorite track on the record because I just love that Hootie and the Blowfish thing. But if you go on YouTube,
politics. No motherfucking Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube and watch videos of this, man, he gets real into it when he does this one.
So I just Googled it real quickly because I wanted to make sure the double bass is the standing upright bass.
Oh, okay.
I know you're not a fan, or maybe you are and Jimmy isn't. Primus?
I hate Primus.
I know. I thought you fucking hate Primus. So
Jimmy loves Primus.
I saw Primus at and the reason why this comes up is because at one point when I saw Primus, I think it was like the Horde Festival or something, or Lollapalooza, Les Claypool comes back out with an upright bass. And he goes, and this is the midpoint in our set, and we want to dedicate this next song to our good friend Satan. And they went into, he played a bow, and he goes into the opening of Seas of Cheese. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. I know you fucking hate them, and you're looking at me like, Jay, shut the fuck up. I hate Primus. But it was fucking good.
No, I mean, you like what you like. I'm not going to make fun of what you like.
Whatever.
I
So,
hate people that do that shit.
so now we hit track 14, which is one of, I think it's the longest track on the album. 6 minutes, 52 seconds, Prejudice,
Yeah.
featuring Benji from Dub War. This is my favorite song on the album. Would this have been your pick, Tim? What did you think? Fire?
I thought it was going to be no, and I forgot to say that, but I thought it was no because of that Hootie thing.
This is it. This is
it. I hate this fucking song.
Dude, I like Benji. I've talked about this in the previous episode, right? I like that Rastafarian, that patois that he sings with. I thought it fits well with the song structure itself, like how it builds. And I'm sorry, the end of the song where Benji's yelling and you hear Max with Prejudice, like that's fucking awesome. Like that is I am fucking headbanging at my desk.
I have down. It's another skippable track. Weird one for sure. I can't understand a word in it. It's heavy as hell though.
Yeah, well, Benji is hard to understand. You need to get out the liner notes and read along. But yeah, this is my favorite track in the album, even though it's a long one. I think it's a fun one, and I would have loved to have seen them do this live with the two of them.
Yeah, I'm very surprised this is your favorite. You're right.
After going back and looking at the notes of some of our previous shows, I am definitely a side B guy. I find for me, the better tracks is always the stuff they bury at the end.
It's all right though.
Last track we have here, Tim, Carmageddon, which does contain a hidden track, Sultao de das Matas.
Yep.
This is your typical outro-y sort of thing. My notes here were my actual note here is did not leave much of an impression.
I just wrote just noise and drums. That's all I wrote.
So between the two of us, I think we pretty much nailed it.
Yeah. It's just like, who gives a fuck? Turn it off. The record's over kind of deal for me. They also put out a limited edition digipack, which had three more tracks, two of which were covers. The one track is called Cagnasario, which I don't remember what it sounds like. I didn't listen to it, but I know I've heard it before. And then they did two Discharge covers. Ain't No Feeble Bastard was number 17. And number 18 is The Possibility of Life's Destruction, which is also a Discharge cover. Do you remember that band?
Discharge, yes. And I was just about to say, Max Cavalera, I put him in the same bucket as someone like a Trevor Sternad from Black Dahlia Murder, where in the sense of they're always listening to new artists, finding new artists. They're interested in what's out there. They're interested in what's popular. I mean, not for nothing, not to shit on him because I would love to have him as a guest. I'm pretty sure Jamie Josta's not out there trolling Bandcamp trying to find new bands. No. Whereas Trevor is like fucking shoulder deep in the $20 spin discography, finding all this weird sort of metal that he loves. And Max is the same way. Like there was an interview not too long ago where Max talked about some of the bands that were influential to him recently are bands like Full of Hell, Nails, and Pulling Teeth.
Yeah,
which is
he always has one of them shirts on too.
Yeah, it's wild to hear him say that. You remember they took out Will Haven very early on. Like Max has an ear for that sort of stuff to the point where maybe, because the last couple of Soulfly albums have just been men's and men's. Yeah. Maybe he'd be better served as an A&R guy. Going out and finding new bands because he obviously has the ear for it.
I'll tell you what, through the years, Max has got heavy, dude. Like, he's got big.
Yeah.
He's a big boy now.
I love Max. I love the I used to go to the Barnes & Noble every 6 weeks to get Metal Hammer, that UK metal magazine, which was like $12 an issue, right? Because it was imported.
Always came with something cool, though, right?
Oh, it was a poster or a CD or something.
A flexi.
Yes. And I remember there was the Donington one where it was him playing with Sepultura, and he looked like a paint factory exploded all over him, right? He always had a very unique fashion sense, the way he approached things. But however, I got to say, lately, Max has this one big dreadlock in the back of his head. Yep. And it kind of looks like if you've ever seen Hellraiser 2, the one thing that has the thing coming out of its head, like Tim's looking at me like I'm fucking crazy, but there's someone listening right now who's going, holy shit, Jay just nailed it. But it's that one dread. I want to be like, dude, shave your head, man. It's time.
Yeah. And it's funny because the recent videos because I watch a shitload of live videos of them over the years, like with the new members and stuff, just to see how they progress and how they sound it. And that's a nasty looking dread too. Just looks nasty.
Yeah,
dude.
it's time to go. While we're talking about Max, my favorite live performance of his, Nail Bomb. The one time they played live. Have you ever checked that out, Tim?
Yes.
With him? Yep. Oh, it is perfect.
That's a great record.
They have one record, they played 2 live shows, they have a live album, and that was it.
Great record.
That live show, if you watch it, the drummers were the bassist was the guy from Neurosis. They had his brother drum, D.H. Peligro from what was it with Jello Biafra? What was his old band? The Dead Kennedys drummed.
Yeah, yep.
He had it was a murderer's row of great musicians all playing with him. That's awesome.
Always used to get that mixed up with Brujeria for some reason. I don't know why.
And that first Raza Odiata is a fucking awesome album. I don't know if I'd call it new metal, but the fucking riffing on that song, that's Dino. You can tell that is all Dino.
Riffmaster.
Yeah, fucking awesome.
Riffmaster.
I saw them live with Cattle Decapitation and this band called Pinata Protest.
Was that at Voltage?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I was going to go to that, and I didn't for some reason.
Oh, you should have went. Tim, Pinata Protest is this weird, Mexican salsa band that plays, kind of like metal, and the guy's got the little squeeze box. It was fucking brilliant. Whatever. Whatever. That
was pretty recently, right? That was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, not too long ago. It was right before Cattle Decap put out the last album, I think. Yeah.
And I think the chick from Orange is the New Black, Jessica Pimentel or something, I think her band played as well.
She might have. Yeah, she really might have.
I think her band opened that show, and because she's in Brujeria now.
Is she?
She does some kind of weird singing stuff in Brujeria now.
Yeah, she sang guest vocals on the last Origin record.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they covered Brujeria, and she sang some of she sang a couple verses.
Yeah, there you go. Makes sense. And Dino didn't play that show, right? He's not even in the band anymore.
No, not anymore. Okay. Not anymore. Neither is Shane Embry, the bassist of Napalm Death.
Yeah, okay. But that's a sick record, man.
Yeah. All
good,
right,
really good shit. Oh, we hold on. We got some more shit here. We do.
More?
So Roadrunner put out a 25th anniversary edition of this record, and there's another track on there called "Blown Away." I never heard it. This is something that I have to go back and check out. So that is on the 25th anniversary edition, and which is weird because has it been 25 years? No, it's only been 23.
No, it hasn't.
So I guess maybe Roadrunner record. I don't know because Roadrunner's been around for way longer than 25 years.
Yeah.
So, they were around in the 80s.
Yep. This might be. I'm looking here. This is the second YouTube comment is this just sounds like a Roots song that Max redid.
Oh, what is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's a Blown Away rough mix. Yeah.
Oh, nice. They also put out the Digipack.
Roadrunner was douchey like this, Tim. Remember, they would just do re-releases and they would package 2 albums into one, and it's kind of fucked up and it's shiesty for the bands.
People would buy them though. That's the thing, man. They knew people were gonna buy this shit. The Digipack also had a bonus disc with a bunch of live tracks and a bunch of remixes. So you'd probably be in that because you love that remix stuff.
Yeah, I do. I love the fucking electronic remixes.
So that's 13 songs of that live and remixes. There's a live at Indigo Ranch for Eye for an Eye, which I would really love to hear. What else we got here? Just a bunch of live tracks. Then the Roadrunner 25th anniversary had a reissue bonus disc as well, which was live from Roskilde Festival 1988 or 1998, which I'm pretty sure, I'm guessing is somewhere in Brazil, I'm guessing.
Roskilde? Nah, it's got to be somewhere in Europe.
Roskilde. See what Google says about that.
Yeah, I think I want to say that's Denmark.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. How do you know that?
Denmark. I don't know, dude. I got all this weird shit in my brain. And yeah, my wife gets mad that I go out and I forget that the whole reason I left the fucking house is to go get milk. It's a whole story.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of good Sepultura covers on there. There's also a 4-track demo version of Eye for an Eye, which I'm very intrigued to hear. I want to hear what that sounds like. But yeah, a bunch of live stuff, a lot of Sepultura stuff on that one.
What year was that, Tim? What year was that Digipack release?
That came out in 1998 as well.
I'm gonna try.
That
and find
was
it.
the Roadrunner Records 25th anniversary reissue bonus disc, which we have to figure out what this Roadrunner 25 thing is.
Well, I'm gonna do some digging. I will go to my friend's SoulSeek and try and find it. Yep.
Yeah,
We'll find it.
while you're doing that, so personnel for the record, I think this is important to go through as well. Max, obviously lead vocals, rhythm guitar. Jackson Banderia, which is also named as he's also known as Lucio Maya. He played lead guitar on the record.
Guys, 2 names. Good for him.
Marcelo D-Rap.
D-Rap. Yes.
He played bass. Then you have Ray Mayorga on drums, which he still is. No, he's not in the band anymore. I think it's Max's
Max's son, I think.
Son, I think, plays drums. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Roy Mayorga anymore. He was on something. He was in a different band to start.
He was in another new metalish band, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah.
In Static X?
Maybe.
Google him real quick and see what, because he was in definitely other bands, like a lot of other bands. I'm pretty sure some new metal stuff. So additional musicians, we went through Dino, Burton, DJ Lethal, Fred Durst. That's about it for additional musicians. Production, you had Ross Robinson. He also mixed a couple of the tracks. Mario Cataldo Jr. did co-production on a couple tracks. Andy Wallace mixed this record, that's why it sounds so fucking heavy.
You're thinking of Stone Sour.
Yes, okay.
Roy Mayorga was in Stone Sour.
Okay. So Andy Wallace mixed this record, which he did a lot of the mixing on a lot of the new metal stuff, which is why you get kind of that certain vibe on a lot of new metal records. Like he probably did some of the Spine Shank. If I'm guessing, he probably did a couple Spine Shank records. I could be wrong. I might be. Who knows? I don't know everything. I don't have it all in my head anymore. A&R on here, Monty Connor. So he was who's another dude we should fucking hit up to get on.
Yeah, have you interviewed him for Ill Street?
No, but I did interview one of the A&R reps from Roadrunner before, who I'm also having on my metal show soon. Howie Abrams.
Okay, Howie, yeah. He's a really nice guy, yeah.
Howie did In Effect Records and all that stuff. He's the one who signed Agnostic Front for there and all that stuff. I think he did. I think he signed them. He's friends with the dude from Bad Brains. He just put out the Metallica book. There's a Metallica children's book he put out. I bought for my girlfriend's son this thing. It's pretty cool.
Speaking of books, you know whose book I just picked up? Johnny Z from Megaforce Records, Anthrax.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah, and he was actually, I got to give Johnny Z a shout out. He emailed me and he's like, hey man, I got your order. Everything's fucked up because of the coronavirus. It's going to be delayed. Is that cool? I'm like, yeah. And he said, I'm going to sign it. Do you still want it signed? I can send it out. I can have my publisher send it tomorrow. I'm like, no, dude, you can sign it. He signed it. It was fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that this summer.
Yeah, my girlfriend just got a book in the mail. She just needs something to read. And she got the basis from UFO. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, she got that book. So Amazon accidentally delivered to another address. So they sent her another one. So now we have 2 copies because the dude who they delivered it to brought it over to me last night. And he was like, oh, yeah, I accidentally
got your mail.
Yeah, so now we have 2 copies. So I'm going to read that next. But
awesome.
But yeah, I just I like going through, who produced it and stuff. I think that's cool, man. It's stuff that, people should know about.
And we talked about, I think we did talk about this, Tim, in our Ross Robinson deep dive. We talked about how Soulfly was right in the meat of all the stuff that Ross was doing. Roots and Korn and Limp Bizkit and this and Human Waste Project and Cold. So, I mean, this is right in that, it was right in his pocket. So it definitely fits. It works on many different levels.
Absolutely, man. So, last thoughts, great fucking record. I'll listen to it again many more times, and I hope I forget about it for a couple of years and then go back to it to relive its gloriousness. So
let me ask you this, Tim. Who modern day fans of what band would enjoy this album? So if I listen to X nowadays, I would enjoy Soulfly.
I think hardcore kids that are listening to anything new metal influenced, like Vane or anything like that, would like this record. I think that's a hit for people like that. And like the new Orthodox record, people listening to that would probably enjoy this.
Absolutely. I would agree. Anybody who's also got a who has an itch for some of the weirder kind of world music, tribal sort of stuff. Like I know that Turnstile has done some interesting stuff with like bongos and shit. You might actually enjoy this because there's enough tribal shit here that works. Even some of the weirder Angel Dust tracks, right?
Yeah.
Might, if you're into that, you might actually enjoy this album because it's enough off kilter and left to center that you're going to enjoy. And also, if you're a fucking soccer fan, listen to this album.
Yeah. Also, that band I sent you last night, Blood Youth. I don't know if you listened to them yet. If you like that band, you'll love this record because that record is Roots and Soulfly together. It's the dudes wearing Sepultura shirts with a Roots shirt in the fucking video they do. So obviously that's a huge, thing for them. So people, if you listen to Blood Youth, put this Soulfly record on, man, because it's good shit.
I did pick it up. I did download it. I just haven't listened to it yet. So I couldn't get past that new Zabalba record. I don't want to go back to that, but it's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
If you're not a man, nobody's tough enough to listen to that stuff. So Tim, I'm going to take it home. Once again, this is the New Breed Podcast. I want to thank you all for listening. We have an Instagram, we have a Twitter, we have a Facebook group, we have a presence on Spotify. We will have playlists soon. We have an email address. Did you agree with us? Did you not agree with us? newbreedpodcast@gmail.com. Did you think our takes suck or are we spot on? Let us know. Any other final thoughts, Tim, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, are we drinking too much on the shows?
Too many left turns and deep rabbit holes. Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, last thoughts though. Great record. If you want to go back in your new metal days, pick this record up. Go on SoulSeek. Just grab this record. Check it out on Apple Music. Whatever you got to do. It's great, man.
Absolutely. There's no better way to end it, so I'm going to end it with that. It's the New Breed Podcast. We'll see you next episode.
All right. See ya.